Good morning, America. Breaking news, deadly plane crash. A passenger jet skids off a runway in South Korea and slams into a concrete wall, killing most of the 181 people on board. And one of the nation's worst air disasters. The warnings from the control tower to pilots just before the crash, and the latest on the investigation.
Tornado outbreak. 36 reported twisters tearing through at least 5 states. At least 1 person killed. Homes and buildings destroyed. The severe storms now moving east. Who's in the danger zone next?
Train collision caught on camera. The heart-stopping video showing this passenger train slamming into a fire truck.
Oh my God.
At least 15 people injured, were crossing gates down at the time.
Visa battle. Republican infighting over special visas for foreign workers. The top Trump team members on one side, MAGA hardliners on the other, where the president-elect stands.
Sports star burglaries. The break-in at the home of Dallas Mavericks Luka Doncic, the latest high-profile athlete to have his home burglarized. What experts are saying about the vulnerabilities for these wealthy athletes.
And football time. The busy weekend for college teams playing in high-stakes bowls. Plus the big NFL matchups. ESPN's Herm Edwards on the teams going head-to-head.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
And Good Morning America. So great to have you with us on a Sunday. A lot of breaking news to cover this morning, including that deadly line of storms and tornadoes that ripped through the South. But we do begin here with a devastating plane crash in South Korea, one of the worst aviation disasters in that country's history.
Here's what we know. The passenger jet operated by Jeju Air, the country's largest low-cost airline, seen in flames after skidding off a runway and crashing into a concrete wall. Look at that smoke.
Just so tragic. Nearly everyone on board losing their lives. There are many questions this morning. Why did the plane land on its belly, and why wasn't it slowing down? Transportation officials saying that the pilot sent out a distress signal shortly before that crash. Now, we've got to warn you here. Some of the video you're about to watch is very difficult to see. Overnight, a terrifying passenger plane crash killing nearly 200 people in South Korea in one of the nation's worst air disasters. The Jeju Air Boeing 737 carrying 181 passengers and crew exploding into flames when it slammed into a wall after something went terribly wrong while landing at OANN International Airport. Smoke billowing into the air, cameras capturing these images near the crash site. At least 177 people killed in the disaster, and that number is expected to rise, with officials saying nearly everyone on board is presumed dead. The families of the passengers on board gathering in an airport lounge distraught as fire officials read the names of the victims. Jeju Air's CEO expressing his deepest apology and accepting responsibility for the crash as the company's top executive. In the video, you can see that the 15-year-old jet landed without its landing gear deployed, the plane landing on its belly at a very high speed, then veering off the runway before slamming head-on into that concrete wall. The plane then bursting into flames, thick black smoke billowing into the air, debris scattered all over the ground. In the wreckage, only the plane's tail still recognizable. Local transportation officials saying before landing, the control tower issued a warning of a bird strike, and the pilot sent a distress signal immediately afterwards. Just a minute later, they say, the pilot issued a mayday and tried landing the plane. Emergency crews rescuing 2 crew members. In a statement, Boeing saying, "We extend our deepest condolences to the families who lost loved ones, and our thoughts remain with the passengers and crew." And there is still a lot that we don't know here, but we did learn that this particular plane had diverted to Seoul yesterday while on the way to Beijing, but it's unclear why it diverted. We also know that Jeju Air has a very strong safety record. As a South Korean low-cost carrier, there was just one other incident almost 2 decades ago when a plane overshot a runway. Only 6 people had minor injuries then. Joining us now is ABC News contributor and aviation analyst John Nance. John, thank you so much for being here this morning for this very disturbing story. Based on what we've seen so far, what do you think happened?
We've got a mystery here, Gio. There's no question about it. You don't land with your landing gear up if you have time to put it down. There's an alternate method, even if you've lost all hydraulics. So why did they land with the gear up? Was it a situation where they had another emergency that we don't understand yet in the cockpit, or was there something else, including just forgetting to put it down in the middle of an emergency?
John, another thing that we notice here in this video is that the plane just isn't slowing down, even when it's landing on its belly. Some airports have those crush pads at the end of runways to slow them down. Is that something investigators are going to look at here?
They will look at it, and they'll look at the application of that worldwide, for that matter. But the problem is, with the crush pad, you still got to be aligned with the runway. If they veered off, which appears to be the case, they would not necessarily have gone into a crush pad if there'd been one at the end of the runway.
And John, something else that we've seen in this video, the plane hit that wall, and that's that very disturbing moment that we see that was captured there. It's very possible that the plane would have been fine if it hadn't hit that wall. Why is that wall even there?
That's a good question. I don't know why it's there, and I don't know where it is in regard to the center line of the runway. You don't want anything in the way of the aircraft as you're coming down a runway. And if you're landing gear up, there's no training for us as pilots in terms of how long it's going to take, how much extra time if you're skidding. Of course, you also don't have any directional control at that point after you've dropped the speed maybe under 100 knots. So a lot of questions here, and some of them are extremely serious in terms of future.
And we know that Boeing is actually sending investigators there, of course, because this is one of their planes. When you look at this and you look at Boeing and people look at other Boeing incidents earlier this year, is this something that you're going to be saying, well, wait a minute, maybe there's a problem with this particular jet, or no, because it's a 15-year-old jet?
Well, first of all, the 737 is probably the most ubiquitous aircraft out there, along with the Airbus A320. I don't think there's anything that's indicated so far that might be a generic problem with the airplane. Very simple systems. But the thing is, until we know exactly what happened in those last few minutes, we really won't know the application. But I would be very surprised if there was anything that was a problem with this particular model aircraft.
All right, aviation analyst and former pilot John Nance, thank you so much for joining us here on GMA, as always. Thank you. Janae?
And Gio, the questions that you were asking, John said good questions, but all questions that we're all wondering, the context you're able to provide as transportation correspondent while talking to John, very helpful. Turning now to the deadly tornado outbreak in the south. Here at home, communities around Houston hit hard, and more storms are due today across the region. ABC's Morgan Norwood is live for us in Brandon, Mississippi. Morgan, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning to you, Janae. That's right. A possible tornado slicing through this neighborhood here in Brandon. You've got massive trees crashing down on this home, cars buried underneath debris and branches. And across the south, more than 50 reported tornadoes in just the past 3 days, leaving many residents, many across the south, picking up heading into the new year.
This morning, from Texas to Mississippi, deadly tornadoes slashing the south. This tornado spotted tearing through a highway west of Brookhaven, Mississippi. Trees visibly snapping under the strong winds.
You guys, that's an actual tornado out here.
In Katy, just outside of Houston, cell phone video showing the moment this twister touched down.
Dude, this is bananas.
Debris hurling into the air as this one roared across a subdivision.
Listen.
Sounds like a train.
Yeah.
One of 10 reported twisters in Texas hitting Porter, where Jeremy Rosales says he scrambled to get his family and dogs into the bathroom inside his mobile home as the twister tore through.
I looked out the window and there was a tornado outside the window. So it was pretty much like almost instantaneous. Lights went out.
And in this North Houston neighborhood, the cleanup begins.
Now the sun is shining like nothing ever happened. The damage is done.
Oh my God.
A family shocked at the damage in their new Caney community.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
The severe weather outbreak put more than 30 million in the south under alerts for dangerous conditions. The system already blamed for at least one death in Manville, Texas.
And back here in Brandon, Mississippi, you see how these trees have pierced through this home. That has been the biggest danger with this storm system. And sadly, we're learning one teenage girl died over in Natchez, Mississippi, after a tree came crashing down on her home. Across the south, more than 228,000 customers without power this morning, and crews will be racing to get the lights turned back on throughout the day. Whit.
All right, Morgan. Yeah, we know Mississippi has been devastated by tornadoes in recent years. Appreciate it. Thank you. Let's get right to meteorologist Samara Theodore. Samara, you're tracking this deadly line of storms.
Yes, I am, Whit. In fact, the same line of storms that wreaked havoc in Texas is now sweeping into the southeast. So the situation is still unfolding in real time. This is actually the radar, so we can see storms from Atlanta down through middle Georgia, making right on into the Florida Panhandle. Everywhere in yellow, a tornado watch is currently in effect. That includes Columbia, South Carolina, right on into North Carolina and Savannah, Georgia, down in low country. So this is what's going to happen in the coming hours. This line of storms will continue to sweep into the Carolinas by about lunchtime and then make its way, bringing heavy rain to places like the mid-Atlantic, the DMV area, and Virginia. Important to keep in mind, the biggest concern, the biggest threats this morning with this system, damaging wind, large hail, and there's still a chance for a few tornadoes. Gio?
So much severe weather this weekend, and it will continue, it looks like. Samara, thank you so much. Now to Florida and that high-speed train disaster. At least 15 people injured in a collision with a fire truck. ABC's Rena Roy joins us now with the details on this. Good morning, Rena. This is a pretty new train.
Hey, Gio, good morning to you. Yeah, that's right. Authorities say these firefighters were responding to an emergency when their truck was hit, and the terrifying moments were all caught on camera.
This morning, heart-stopping video shows the moments a Brightline passenger train slams into a fire truck as it attempts to cross the tracks in Delray Beach, Florida. You see the train quickly approaching, and the crossing gates appear to be down. Other cars are stopped, but the truck goes through, and then the moment of impact.
Oh, my God. Can you please tell me they're okay?
Bystanders watching it all unfold, running over to help.
Did the driver get out? That's all I want to know.
The front of the train destroyed, mangled metal and shattered glass left behind, and the truck flipped on its side, also badly damaged. Officials say 12 people on board were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. 3 firefighters also hurt.
2 of them were trauma alerted or deemed critical at the scene.
Authorities say they were responding to an emergency call when this happened Saturday just before 11 a.m. All of them now in stable condition.
And in a statement, Brightline says it is investigating along with the NTSB and local police. And train officials are reminding people to never drive around those gates when they're down to keep everyone safe. Janae.
All right, Rena, thank you for that. Turning now to the Trump transition and the new infighting within the Republican Party over topics like H-1B visas and immigration. ABC's Mary Alice Parks joins us now live from Mar-a-Lago in Florida this morning. Mary Alice, this was a big talker on social media.
Yeah, Janae, good morning. This debate has become a real battle inside Trump circles this holiday, pitting some of his far-right anti-immigration supporters against some of his newer supporters like Elon Musk and others who say they are in favor of these specific H-1B visas. They say that they are essential to helping their companies attract top talent around the world. Well, for now, President-elect Trump is siding with Elon Musk and others from Silicon Valley, telling the New York Post in a new interview he is, quote, a believer in the H-1B visa program, and he always liked them. Now, this specific program allows about 80,000 foreigners into the U.S. for up to 6 years in fields like technology and medicine. Trump claimed that he has used them on his properties, but his team did not respond to our questions about that. In the past, he has actually been really critical of these visas. During his first term, he put new restrictions on the program. At one point, he suspended the program altogether. And this conversation online among conservatives has gotten really heated in the last few days. At one point, Elon Musk was swearing at some of Trump's other supporters. Some of them were lobbing racist insults against immigrants like Musk. So it is hard to imagine that this debate around these visas is really over, considering this really serious conflict that we are seeing within Trump's orbit over an issue that was so central to his campaign. Janae.
We will watch as it all unfolds. Mary Alice, thank you for that. And make sure to tune into This Week later this morning. Chief Washington correspondent and This Week co-anchor Jonathan Karl will speak with Republican Representative Mike Lawler of New York amid a fiery debate within the GOP over immigration, as Mary Alice Parks was just walking us through. Plus, retiring Democratic Senator Ben Cardin of Maryland, the outgoing chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee, joins John Karl to discuss America's challenges abroad.
Janae, now to the latest on the nationwide string of burglaries at the homes of big league athletes. This time, the target was Dallas Mavericks superstar Luka Doncic. ABC's Jacqueline Lee joins us now. And Jacqueline, despite the warnings from police, these crimes keep happening.
That's right, Whit. Good morning. This is such a widespread issue that both the NBA and NFL issued security alerts to players, warning them to implement extra safety precautions for their homes.
Who slices through 2 defenders.
This morning, another sports star burglarized at home.
Square!
This time, Dallas Mavericks star Luka Doncic targeted by thieves. The burglars allegedly getting away with jewelry valued at $30,000. His representative telling ESPN that no one was home at the time, and thankfully Luka and his family are safe. And he has filed a police report and an investigation is ongoing. This latest break-in comes on the heels of other high-profile homes targeted. Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce targeted after Monday Night Football kickoff. Thieves stealing more than $20,000 in cash. His teammate and quarterback Patrick Mahomes speaking out after an October break-in at his home.
It's frustrating. It's disappointing. But I can't get into too many of the details.
Earlier this month, Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow, the victim of a home invasion in Ohio while he was playing on the road.
I feel like my privacy has been violated in more ways than one.
The problem so widespread, the NFL sending a memo to its players, warning criminals use public records to find players' addresses and conduct extensive surveillance by tracking team schedules and the social media accounts of players and their families. They wait until homes are empty.
They are very attractive targets for the following reasons. Their schedules are published publicly. They tend to live in really nice, expensive houses, drive terrific cars, tend to have high-end jewelry and cash.
And we reached out to the Dallas Police Department. They said they would not confirm victim identification. Officials warning that these criminals are going as far as to use drones and signal jamming technology. Gio.
Wow, just unbelievable. Yeah, terrifying, right? All right, Jacqueline, thank you so much for that.
Now to this weekend's Bowl Bonanza. 8 college football bowl games on slate Saturday. ABC's Phil Lipoff is here with the highlights, and there are a whole lot of them. Phil, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Janae. It was a late night. You know, it's fitting that college football bowl season comes around the holidays because if you're a fan, it's got to be the best present ever. This year, everything from a Pro Football Hall of Famer coaching his son to a huge upset at the last minute in the Arizona Bowl, hosted by Snoop Dogg.
86-yard touchdown!
This morning, all football all the time.
And Daly dancing to the end zone.
College bowl season is underway, and so far, no shortage of spectacular action.
Kingston into the end zone, a punt return touchdown.
All eyes on BYU Colorado in the Alamo Bowl. A huge night for Colorado in their first bowl game in 4 years and their first postseason game with new head coach, Pro Football Hall of Famer Deion Sanders.
Sanders in trouble.
QB and coach's son, Shedeur Sanders, and Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter leading the charge.
Travis Hunter, juking, scoring.
But in the end, an upset. BYU coming away with the win 36-14 over Colorado.
Touchdown for L.J. Martin.
And 2 games played in 2 of baseball's most iconic parks.
Touchdown, Nebraska.
The Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium, Nebraska beating Boston College 20-15.
Now Pignata to the end zone, touchdown.
And the Wasabi Fenway Bowl in the shadow of Boston's Green Monster. UConn besting North Carolina 27-14. And it was down to the wire in the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
That keeps it, and he surges in.
Iowa State upsetting Miami with a last-minute 1-yard rushing touchdown.
For the point after.
The extra point, good. The final, 42-41. And in the late game, the Independence Bowl.
Daly to the end zone.
Louisiana Tech and Army. Army coming away with the victory, 27-6. And if that's not exciting enough, we're just getting started. Plenty of bowl games between now and January 4th. Some of the biggest names in college football playing on New Year's Day. Georgia, Notre Dame, Oregon, Ohio State. Texas takes on Arizona State. And one they wouldn't let me put in, Syracuse won the Holiday Bowl Friday night.
Like that one.
Just saying. The homer.
Hey, you said the bowls were the best present ever, but I got to show you this.
What's this?
Janae is learning how to do calligraphy, and look what she
Oh my
made me.
goodness.
This
So cute.
is the best present ever.
Oh, look at you.
It's beautiful, Janae. Janae, well
Just
done.
wanted to share with the audience. I think they would like that about
I did. I've been really getting my nerdy artistic stuff.
Thank you, Phil and Janae, for the lovely sign.
I'm going to make you one too.
Sure you will. Still ahead here on GMA. Managing social media for yourself and your family. Guidelines from our Dr. Darian Sutton as we head into the new year.
Also, money moves you can make right now to set yourself on the right track for success in 2025.
And looking back at some of our favorite moments of the year. Do any of our favorite moments include wit? They do. They do. We'll be right back.
It's the eclipse. Come on.
Look at that. Woo!
want to know, it's time for the party of the year.
Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve celebrates the must-see performance.
Welcome back to GMA on this Sunday morning. I'm not going to sing, but that Alanis Morissette,
You already did this morning, so I think
you ought to know.
Okay.
This year's that was pretty good. Thank you. Times Square New Year's Eve ball has been installed. The stars are lined up. The stage is set for another mega Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest. The big show will air Tuesday, December 31st, right here on ABC, beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern. You're going to be up to watch?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's such a good show.
It is such a good show.
You have to watch it.
You also have the stamina.
All right, let's take a look at some of the other big stories we're following here on this Sunday morning. Happening right now, of course, that passenger plane crashing in South Korea, killing at least 174 people in one of the nation's worst air disasters on record. The Jeju Air Boeing 737 carrying 181 passengers and crew exploding into flames when it hit a wall. It skidded off the runway while landing at OANN International Airport around 9 a.m. local time this morning.
Also right now, Charles Dolan, the media pioneer who brought us HBO and Cablevision, among other things, has died. Dolan started his media empire by launching HBO in 1972. He also held controlling stakes in companies that own Madison Square Garden, Radio City Music Hall, and some sports teams. Charles Dolan was 98 years old.
And Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani announcing on Instagram that he's going to be a papa. The 30-year-old posting a photo of a pink onesie, white shoes, and a photo of a sonogram along with his and his wife's dog with the caption, "Can't wait for the little rookie to join our family soon." All big blessings to him.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we are going to start this half hour here with a look at how you can have a healthy relationship with social media in the new year. And 2024 was a big year for research on that. So joining us now is ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton. And we're also going to go ahead and bring in Samara here because, Samara, you actually took a whole year off of social media. Why did you do that?
You know, I think it was layered for me. I was going through a lot in my life. I just found out on my birthday that my sister was diagnosed with cancer. We were in the fight to try and get her a heart and a liver. And I was also going through a divorce. So there were so many components to this that I knew I was going to need more bandwidth. And I think we can't neglect the fact that social media really does sometimes drain you. So I needed to be emotionally full to take on what was ahead.
Because so often we're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and not living life because of it. So Dr. Sutton, obviously we know here that you're talking about potential good effects from social media, right? Because you have people connecting with each other. So there's a lot of joy in that. But there's also some real science on the dangers of social media. What did we learn this year on that?
Well, this year was a really important year. The Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy, stated that social media should have a warning label similar to that of tobacco industries. And it speaks to the increasing and the rising rates of mental health crisis among teens, adolescents, and young adults. And it's all, or seemingly, majority of it seems to be associated to social media use.
All right.
And, you know, I also have a question for you. We talked about this previously, different ways that you can help mitigate this. But do you have any specific recommendations that we need to know about when it comes to maybe digital detox?
Yeah, so there are recommendations that we all can take because the majority of us are on social media, whether it be associated to our job or just in general, just trying to find community. So there are some important things you can do. We've got some listed here. The first thing that you can do is look at your numbers. Check to see how much time you're spending on social media. Change your settings. When you go into those apps, you can set settings for nighttime when you're about to go to bed. You can set daily limits. Also, my suggestion, get rid of your notifications. There's no reason to have notifications on social media. It's not your email, it's not work. And if it's either of those things, then you can get rid of those. And then also just talk to your friends about what your numbers are so that you can have other people join in on this fight against your attention.
In fact, the only notification I have is having that volume on for phone calls because I know that's going to be urgent, but maybe not a text message, maybe not an email like that. Samara, what did you learn during this year? Because we've seen the science, there's real science behind it, but I know that you felt something and there's a change.
Yes, I remembered how to be more present. That is something I significantly forgot. So in those moments when I was spending the last days with my sister, there would be moments where just sitting on a couch and I would normally be scrolling through my phone on downtime, but I was present. I was there. I was watching her. I was able to reach over and talk to her. I was able to fully engage in moments with my friends and family. And I think that's something I really forgot as a millennial because I'm a part of that generation that kind of went from one thing to the next with this introduction of technology. And I also learned how to regulate now that I'm back because it does serve serve a purpose. I feel very interconnected now, and I have a lot of things I want to share. But I told you, Dr. Sutton, I've now relegated my apps to one device, my iPad.
Oh, that's a good tip. And
Yeah.
you don't grab your phone necessarily
Precisely.
right away. All right, Dr. Darian Sutton, thank you so much. Samara, thank you so much. And since you're so present and right here, why don't you give us the weather?
Let's do it. All right, we got a lot going on. I know we have the New Year's Eve forecast. I know everyone's wondering what's going to happen at midnight, especially if you're going to see the ball drop. I'm going to go ahead and do a little switcheroo here. Take a look. So on New Year's Eve at 12 a.m., we are anticipating some heavy rain out in the northwest, potentially some mountain snow as well. But a large chunk of the country into the heartland, into the Midwest will be clear and quiet, which will make for great conditions for fireworks. Meanwhile, in New York City, right, we are going to see that ball drop, but in New York City, we are anticipating rainfall. So just be prepared for that as the ball drops. If you're headed down to Times Square, that we could be in for some rain. Bring the umbrella.
The GMA and a look at the big NFL games this week. ESPN football analyst, our buddy, Coach Herm Edwards, joining us as always. Great to see you, Coach. Good morning. Looking good in the burgundy, the Merlot velvet this morning.
Ready for the new year.
Yeah.
Look at the stripes, too.
Yeah, I knew we were talking about Washington.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That burgundy. So
yeah, let's get into that. We got the Falcons Commanders game, the battle of these rookie QBs, Michael Penix and your guy Jaden Daniels here. Okay, in the most objective way, who do you like?
Oh, you like Washington. Jaden Daniels he's not a rookie quarterback anymore. When you think about what he's accomplished thus far in the National Football League, he takes a 4-13 team to 10 wins already this season, and he's a dual quarterback, as we know. He not only can he pass, he can run. He's run for over 700 yards right now at this point. Doesn't turn the ball over a lot. I like the way Washington's playing. Look, Penix, I think, is a good quarterback. He's a young quarterback, but this is going to be a mountain too tall for them to climb against Washington that's rolling right now.
Coach, I just want to make sure that I got that right, that you are saying objectively that rookie QB Jaden Daniels is, in fact, no longer a rookie because he's just that good. Just making sure I understood it right. Correct.
Here's the rule in the league. After 3 games, when you're a starter as a rookie, you're no longer a rookie. Okay. You're just a pro football player.
Wow.
That's the rule.
Oh, that's the rule. Oh, so we are really learning today. Okay, Coach, still dropping them gems. Continuing with the goal of objectivity, Jalen Hurts won't be playing for the Eagles today. Do they still beat the Cowboys to clinch the NFC East?
Well,
I saw that smirk.
Wait a minute now. You're going to ask a Philadelphia
Exactly.
Eagles, are they going to beat the Cowboys?
Objectively.
No, look, the Cowboys are a little bit wounded. The Eagles are playing well. And I think what gets lost in this, even though Hurst is not going to play today, the Eagles have the #1 defense in the National Football League. They have improved. So this is a game that the Philadelphia Eagles should win. We know Jalen Hurst is not playing. I get all that. Barkley should run for about 150 yards. He needs to break the record. He needs to break Eric Dickerson's record. I think he has the capability of doing that. Remember, if he breaks the record, it's not so much about him, it's about the offensive lineman. The offensive linemen want Saquon Barkley to break the record more than Saquon Barkley wants to break the record, because this is a big number for them. So I think this is a game the Philadelphia Eagles cannot lose. They need to beat the Cowboys. It's always fun to beat the Cowboys.
All right, Coach and Sway, tell us real quickly, how about the Green Bay Packers-Minnesota Vikings game?
Oh, you know what? I think we're falling asleep on the Minnesota Vikings. Sam Darnold and this Minnesota Viking team, they're tough. I think they win at home against Green Bay. Sam Darnold's playing well. I mean, he's really playing good. And this Viking team, they're a lot to handle on offense, so I like them at home. I think this is a game they'll win.
All right.
All right. Okay. We don't have much time left, so we got to get to our Who's with Herm here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the scoreboard here. You're going to notice me right there at the top. 13 wins.
Watch it.
Janae's coming in second. You got Gio there with 6. Herm with 10.
Close.
Yeah. Nobody's coming back here, but okay. So we've got the Detroit Lions, Coach, against my Niners. This is a tough one. Who are you picking?
Oh, I hate to go against the Niners. They are wounded. You know, there's some history with the Niners and with the GM and myself and our families. My family's actually going to the game.
Ooh.
But I like Detroit. I like Detroit. I think Detroit.
All right, Gio.
I'm going with Herm, Detroit.
Bang, bang, Niner gang.
You're going Niners?
No, I'm going Detroit.
Oh, you're going Detroit. Hey,
Gotcha.
I'm going to stay with the home team. I'm going Niners. Bang, bang, Niner game. Gang, you got it, Coach. Thank you so much. We appreciate it as always. I'm doing it.
I'm gonna catch up.
That's right. I don't think so. You can catch the Lions at the Niners 8:15 Monday night right here on ABC, and we'll be right back after this.
Team's an unlucky number.
We're back now on GMA with a financial checklist as we head into the new year. ABC's Alexis Christoforous is here with some of the moves to consider right now to set you up well for next year as well. Alexis.
That's right. Thanks, Janae. The clock's ticking on 2024, but there's still time to make some last-minute moves to set yourself up for financial success in the new year. You comparison shop for the best price on holiday gifts, right? So why not do the same when it comes to the interest you're earning in the bank, which for many people is next to nothing. The average rate on a typical savings account is just 0.4%. Some are much lower than that. So you want to use sites like Bankrate.com and NerdWallet to shop around for CDs or high-yield savings accounts with more attractive rates. And depending on the bank, you can still get between 3 and 5%. Now, if you're a homeowner with a mortgage, consider making your January mortgage payment now to increase your mortgage interest deduction for this year. Then there's still time to contribute to your state-sponsored 529 college savings plan. That could also mean a greater tax savings when you go file your 2024 return. And if there's money left over in your company-sponsored FSA or flexible spending account, you need to use it or lose it. Spend that money at the drugstore on things like over-the-counter medications, digital thermometers, even sunscreen. Now's also a good time to review your will, trusts, and beneficiaries. You want to make sure those documents are accurate and up to date to reflect your wishes. Guys,
those are some really good tips. I know that you all, as homeowners, you were looking at
Pay
them.
your January mortgage this month.
Very smart.
Good stuff. Alexis.
Use it or lose it. Words to live by.
Thank you, Alexis.
We're back now with our play of the day and the moment we've been waiting for all year. Yes. Will Gans has been scouring the shows for some of the 2024's most memorable moments.
We're so anxious.
A lot of pressure on you here, Will Gans.
We better be in it.
Better be good.
I can promise you you're in it.
Okay, all right.
At a baseline, we've got that. The truth is that this piece could have been 2 hours long, but apparently I'm not allowed to double the length of our show today. So here's just a small sliver of the fun we've had this year.
Are you all excited?
Yes, we are. We've been waiting all morning for this
All
conversation.
morning long.
Rise and shine, America.
Whoa! Wow. Okay. I wasn't expecting that.
In 2024,
Wait till you see this cutie.
everybody was working for the GMA weekend.
I got some sleep, probably like 2 hours.
2 hours.
The fashion,
Hey, knees. Hey, knees.
fierce.
The bow tie, it's like a cross between James Bond and Bozo the Clown.
More bozo than James, but all right.
The competition,
Can I get it?
even fiercer.
That was going to be my guess.
The year's biggest stories.
Look at that! Woo! Yes!
From winter weather
Look how pretty behind you.
I know, isn't that gorgeous? This is a winter wonderland.
to the summer games.
How did you prepare getting ready for games again? Obviously, staying on my weekly therapy sessions.
We took you there.
You know, just hanging out here.
So from our GMA family, in front of the camera and behind it, thanks for a fantastic year. And here's to a groovy vibe in 2025.
You can watch much more just like this every weekend. See you, everybody. Thank you.
It's so good.
That was good.
So good to everyone in the control room and behind the scenes who work so hard, giving up all of your weekends every weekend.
Yeah.
Thank
All of
you
you
to all of
guys.
you
Thank
and to everyone who watches us every weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
I don't think that dancing moment was on TV.
I was
They
going to
went
say,
into
what's
like,
that? Like, I would have never put that on.
Sure you will.
Thanks to the viewers, too, for spending your weekends with us. It is a joy and a pleasure.
100%. Part of this extended family that we
Absolutely.
have here. You know, we get you through the hard times, but we gotta let you breathe a little bit on weekends too.
Thanks for doing it
Have a
with
great
us.
day, everybody.
have a great one.
And Happy New Year!
Yes.